Hello and welcome to my Season 2 March lineup. So, I'm currently at 89 million power. Haven't really been doing much merits recently. As you can see, I'm at the exact same merit score. So, Bren's got about an extra million there, where I've gotten none so far. As I don't really do merit trading, I only participate in wars. But as you can see, we're kind of just in our zone 1 here. Most of 664 ended up kind of leaving the game kind of idea. So we just got outplayered. Because when we were fighting the war, we were typically about 30 to 40 players to there about 90. So we eventually lost in nutrition and kind of fighting them there, and there's only so much that a single T5 can do against all of them. But I'm going to show you what I used in the open field to get all the merits that I did. And if we look at the rankings for the power scaling, I mean, Levy and Soslan, I don't know. I'm too tired to read that. But they just hard boosted their power here. They weren't even in the top 10 before. But you could see ES really. Oh, Stotus, nice at 50 million. ES really hasn't been pushing their power much. But at the beginning of the season, if you saw my old videos, we didn't even have most of our players in the top 10. So really, we lost because of our player count. We've got 199 here, but really, when it came to who's fighting in the war, I have many clips where there's less than 10 of us fighting against ES. So that we lost on player count, not because we were worse than them. You could. Okay, that sounds like a huge excuse. Whatever. You can think of it as you will. We lost, and it is what it is, right? At the end of the day, we lost, and so. But I'm gonna show you what I was running when I was multi-create. This is my first page and the main page that I was using here. So I was using a double celestial, single mage, tank, marksman lineup, and this wasn't actually overly good, but it's not the worst. Okay, part of the reason why I have such a split that I do is one of them is because of legions. So I've only got I can have 3 celestial legions and a mage legion out for this season here. I've got my tanks, I've got a little bit of archers and a little bit of cavs. So what I was running was, as we can see, this, and I can add another. If we go magic, I can throw in, Waldir Anduin, for example, and we can run a quadruple magic lineup with a single tank. But I was running this. So what are the pros, what are the cons of running such a split march like this? The pros are I am extremely flexible when it comes to the open field in what I'm capable of doing. For example, I can sit my Garwood in the back. I can go and attack kind of idea where my Garwood sits in the back, and if their cavalry run at me, then I can use my Garwood to kind of block, and then I can quickly click them on and off to block that way. The other issue is, because I said that we had such low amount of players, is I had to also be the main tank. So I was the main tank and the main DPS. So I had to fill multiple roles at the exact same time. And that's why I have such a split march there doing that. So we're going to go through each individual march and why I was using kind of each individual march. First off was the Garwood Madeline. So we can see here with our infantry overall, I'm running the Garwood. I've only got him as a 5-1-3-2. So for the players out there that are free to play, all that stuff, do I need to have Garwood Awakened? This is all I ran. Now I do have the T5 units, but this is all I have for right now. And then my Madeline, the only investment I've done in her was the 5511. So this is, for me, this is more than enough to assist. We got that, 100, 1,200 shield factor. So I found this to be an absolute amazing deputy behind the Garwood. Now, until they changed the Garwood, until they reworked Madeline there, I would have had her primary and Garwood secondary, but after the rework, I just have her secondary. She's fantastic for Season 1, Season 2. Really what you're wanting to get is the 5551, if that's what you're looking at and you're going to invest in her, if not Fully Awakened. But for the purposes of me, since I'm saving up for Gora Skogul in the next season there, I've only gone with the 5511, and that's how I've been using her since Season 1. So those are the two marches there. I'm using him with the Dragon Scale Armor. We're just granting extra shields, range damage resistance minus 9% for 5 seconds there. So we've got the extra shield factors, and we've got a little bit of keen. We've got that infantry unit HP, so we're stacking HP rather than defense, because HP is better than defense, but that's a debate and a talk for a different video of HP versus defense there. And then for the pet, I am not running a striped bear. So if you remember from my other video, I'm not a big fan of the striped bear. This isn't a good pet by any stretch of the imagination, but we are using the counter strike with the intense counter strike there and a 2-star level infection. So I do need more endurance on this pet. So that's the issue. I would rather, the strength, agility, endurance be S, but beggars can't be choosers. This is what I've rolled, and this is what I've been running with. So even though it's not the best, this is what I have been using for my tank march. And you can see I've still got 21 million PvP kills, even though that's with a tank march there. Next up, we're going to talk about the Marksman March. See, I was planning on playing Marksmans, and then I just really found that I wasn't enjoying their playstyle in the open field, so I did pivot. And my pivot here is the Hosk Kanara or the Kanara Hosk, vice versa, and it just depends on the behemoths or not. So I was using him as my behemoth killer, and as you can see here, if we look at the magma, we can see that I was at nearly 1 million damage there. Levy with his T5 archers as well I was almost 200k more damage than another T5 player. So you could see it's really pumping out the damage, and I did get a little overzealous and I fully starred both of them out as well, which I should not have done, but I did do that, and they served me super well for Season 1, Season 2 as my behemoth killers. Now, part of the issue and what could have been done better from myself, and this is a mistake, not necessarily a mistake, but long-range warfare. I did not take long-range warfare, and that would have changed everything because your marksman units would have had the same attack range as my mage units. So that's part of the issue because, as you can see, when we line them up somewhere, if we went to attack, so if we attack here, you're going to see that my marksman units are going to be in front of all of my mage units. So it makes them a real easy target. So see how they run in front? Makes them a real easy target to get picked off. So that's the one issue that I did do there. I don't know where all you guys are going. You stay out. So that's one of the issues there is the long-range warfare. With running this march system setup, I should have used the long-range warfare because what was happening was my archers would be getting focused down because everyone could see them and pick them off. But in terms of killing damage that they dealt way more damage than mages did in the same amount of time. So my archers would survive maybe a third of the time, but they would still get, that 80k kind of merit mark, even though they survived so much less. So we can see here with the PvP kills is 43 million on my Hosk. So you could see Hosk was doing some work, where the Kanara was a bit lower at 34 million. So, but that Hosk was absolutely putting in work for that with that 43 million. That whole season, Hosk is doing fantastic. He put in a ton of work. Now, I am only running the Rattle Spear as a level 1 as well. So it's not even like I've got this super cracked Rattle Spear, right? So my artifact's not good. My pet here, this is based off of luck, so I got a decent luck roll. I mean, the int and spirit don't do anything for me. The agility's dumb low, which is bad. So this is a B tier pet at most, and then my strength is 235, which is decent. So I've got decent luck and strength rolls, and for my luck, having 2 of my 3 main stats is good enough for me with 7 skill slots. So we've got that second 7 skill slots, and I did get it to the 2-star there. So that's been one of my main marches, as you know, we're stacking that counterattack damage. So even though they were get focused, they were doing all of that counterattack damage back. So they were doing absolute god tier damage. That was insane amounts of damage, insane amounts of merits. So if you are a low spender, then because this march is not free to play friendly. If you are a low spender, then you can absolutely see that Hosk was just shredding through ES there, server 661. So he absolutely was dominating in this server. Next up, I'm going to touch on the Lilia Velen. So as well, we're talking about not a free-to-play friendly march here, but it's, as you'll see, this wasn't a good march either. Now, I put my Lilia Velen as my mage march, so I'm using mages with them, so we're not getting the standing auto attack, but what we are doing is we are buffing our surrounding legions. We have the magic, but also here, gain a boost to 1 surrounding friendly legion every 3 seconds while in battle, increasing their HP by 20% for 15 seconds. So we are just kind of buffing our surrounding legions while Lilia is pumping out that damage. Now, as I stated before, I was planning on playing archers, and that's where my account was focused on. Season 1 was I put everything into my Kanara Hosk, and I didn't really put much into my mages. So looking at the Lilia, I did fully star her up. So this was a good investment, putting all the stars there, rather than, I kind of regret putting full stars in these two. But that's fine. You can still see how well they performed in Season 2. So my Lilia here, we have 41 million PvP kills. So just shy of the Hosk. So you can see she was about 2 million PvP kills short of my Hosk. So Lilia absolutely outperformed, is the #1 mage Season 1, Season 2. Hands down, there's no debate. She is the #1 mage Season 1, Season 2. Her rage skill there, her extra flame passive where she can scorch everyone. She's just pumping out crazy amounts of AoE damage. She is absolutely fantastic, and I have 0 regrets with her at all. And we are running my second favorite skill tree in the entire game with that skills tree, and this is the tree that I've been running all season. All season, I haven't touched this. This is my tree for my Lilia, and it's absolutely cracked. And I do have the Infernal Flame level 5, though. I did get it level 5 by the end of Season 1. So this is doing massive amounts of damage with that 2,200 damage factor. We have it full levels, full stars, baby. We have gone fully into this one. So this is where I went for artifacts, and this did not let me down. We absolutely slaughtered the enemy. And even with a terrible pet. So you can see I got this Sapphire Fade Drake. It's just a 1-star. It's nothing to write home about. The skills on it suck. This pet sucks. This is like a C tier pet. We don't even have that good of intelligence. I've got 266 intelligence. I'm currently working on building a new Sapphire Fade Drake. That's my new mission and goal, is to build an actual Sapphire Fade Drake for my Lilia. Okay, so this sucks. Don't follow this. Don't look at that. It was literally, I rolled 7 skills, had whatever intelligence, and I just went with it. So it's just a 1-star Pain Bloom, and I've still been absolutely melting the enemies there. Now, with that being said, my Velen's not even wakened, right? And my skills landed bad with having a 5 there. 5 on the 4 skill, you know, magic damage reduction. Like, I want these skills to all be 5. So I do need to eventually fill out and work on my Velen. And I did get 22 million PvP kills with him. So that's the next March. So the March after that, we will talk about Moo Bahorn. So Bahorn is a Season 2 hero that we got there, and Moo right now is just the epic version. We do not have the fully legendary version of Moo, but we'll go into that. So my Moo is fully awakened, fully started up, and we have 24 million PvP kills. So as you could see, didn't perform as well as that Lilia, but with an epic hero, still at 24 million PvP kills. Absolutely was loving the Moo. She did fantastic for me with the Celestials, because we are buffing our attack damage on the 4th skill there. So we get that 18% increased attack damage. Now for her, we are running the Sand Lizard here. All my skills are basically A there, but we got decent intelligence and 8 slots. So that's what I've been running as a pet. Not overly the best, but we are getting that heal with the 2-star Stone Aura, and this is also hitting our legions because this is the Advanced Stone Aura, which reduces the cooldown. So that's kind of what we're doing there. Now it only reduces it for every 135 agility, and you see we don't have the threshold for the second one, so it's only 1 second, not 2 seconds. But this is what we're running, and Poison Glands is kind of just thrown in there as an extra skill that works. But this is fully into that healing factor and that healing side of it, so we can stack our battle medicine. For the artifact that we're running with the Moo Bahorn, I'm using the Phoenix Eye as a second up artifact. This is a fantastic artifact for mages. If you're investing in this artifact, go right ahead. This did wonders for me with getting that extra attack, the 2000 diffuse damage to 4 legions. This was my go-to artifact there. So this is another one that I want to focus eventually on, getting that up towards, you know, that level 5 as a substitute artifact. It did fantastic for me. And the Bahorn, we'll just quickly glance at that. I have 34 million PvP kills with the Bahorn. So it's still about 10 million shy of that Hosk, but Bahorn being only that 4 stars, not even being awakened yet, was absolutely melting people with that AoE damage. So that's that. And then my final march in my open field kind of march here, when I was running it as my main open field march, we have Thea with that Atheist. Now, a lot of people are running the Bahorn with the Thea, but this is my support march. Okay, so that's the difference. This I'm running as my support march. And the reason we're running these two in a pair specifically is because looking at the Atheist, we have Rage Generation. So if we go back to the overalls as well, if you remember from my Thea build, we are running this Pick Me Up. So we are getting massive amounts of rage. So our goal is not to do necessarily damage, but is to cycle our rage skill repeatedly over and over and over and over and over again. because it is casting on one friendly legion there, as well as the Thea March as well. And then we're focusing on the attack bonuses that she gets from her passives, and then we're having that on our Celestials, and then we get the attack bonus there as well, the 5%, as long as we stay stationary over 4 seconds. So we have stacked up a bunch of attack damage on the Thea, and it's not about her rage skill, it's about cycling her rage skill as fast as possible to get as much shields out as possible. So this was my support march, and we can look at this here, and we have 40 million PvP kills. 40 million PvP kills with a support march. That outperformed Mu Bahorn in the season. Was that Thea? Yes. So Thea, when I talk about her and I say how well she did, second best Celestial. And you get her, oh, here we are. So we get her from the golden chest. So you are building her from this golden chest here. You're going to, over time, if you're lucky enough to roll her, you're going to be just building up your Thea over time. I think she is a fantastic, fantastic investment. And then we're also running her with the Celestial, so we've got that flying attribute there. For the artifact, I am running the Visage of Sanctus. Now, this is the next artifact that I am going to get to level 5. This is the next one that I want to focus, is for my Thea, because as you saw, Thea is doing fantastic. So even though this is a level 1 artifact, we nearly have the same PvP kills as our Lilia. Yeah, insane. So we've got that extra defense, which is fine. It makes our Thea just an absolute flying tank, support, damage, march with the Legion attack there. I don't know how we can state this. I don't know how I can, say how much better this is. With the terrible pets that I have, pulling out the numbers that I did against the opponents that I did, being outnumbered the way I was, this open field march was absolutely doing fantastic. So we could see that I still only have the Pain Bloom as the 1 star. We have good intelligence, good spirit, good luck on this pet here. But we are running suboptimal skills. We do have some suboptimal skills here. The follow-up, 1 star intense follow-up, the magic spirits, and then we've got renaissance. So we could change out the skills and make this better. We can also get that 2 star. But with this being such a, maybe it's a B tier pet. So with a C and B tier pet at best, that's what we're getting. That's what we're getting for kills. And we're just going to state again for rankings that I'm way up here at 21 million kills, where another full T5 is a whole 10 million PvP kills below me. And Bren's having to get those mostly by fighting her own alliance, not by fighting us. So when I was performing in the open field, I was really outperforming several other players. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything like that. I'm just showing you as the facts as what they are. And you can take that or leave it how you want to. So that's kind of how my marches work together in tandem. Switching out the Haas Kanara would have been better, to be honest with you. They died quite quickly. They died all the time. So they were taking quite a bit more resources, elixir, that kind of idea, away from my Celestials and my tanks. But we absolutely did fantastic there. Just to highlight it again, if we go to Baby Atlas, we can see I did get another 341 that I didn't share with Baby Atlas, but we can see we're getting merits of over 200k, over 200k with that Lilia Thea. We've got a Lilia Thea there that's 356. So 356 is the most merits that I believe I've ever earned on a single open field battle there. So I also got another 341 with that Lilia Thea as well that's not saved. So I hope this kind of explained the kind of rundown of why I was running these marches, you know, with me having to be the main tank as well as the main DPS. That's why I was running this set of marches specifically myself, and that's kind of how well they performed. So hopefully this brought a little bit of insight towards you guys on how you might want to lay out your marches and deal with your marches there. You can mix and match. I mean, you can definitely run your Bahorn with your Thea. Maybe you don't even have Bahorn and you've got a Waldir instead. You know, you can mix and match and see what kind of performs where and what does what. But this was my open set of 5 when I was running the open field.